everybody, welcome. Can I start? Hello everybody, welcome to Vigilant Citizen. My name is Josh. I'm here with a friend Sam, and we're going to tell you a little bit. Sam is going to tell you a lot. He told me he has a lot to say about ham radio, because that's what this is, right?
That's right. This is a Yaesu FT818. It's a pretty cool little radio because it's an all band, all mode, so you can talk any frequencies open to ham operators and most modes that are available. It's a portable rig, so we're out kind of at a campground just hanging out listening on 20 meters.
We're in a canyon that's been shaped by a beautiful river out here, and so it's been pretty difficult to find any signal, right? But you've gotten a couple signals out here for the past hour. What have you gotten so far?
Just some folks checking into others across the country, and had a few operators trying to get signal from Florida out to California, and looks like quite a few of them were successful. So we have pretty good solar conditions and pretty good contact. It's been kind of fun.
And you're saying that something about the solar conditions what did you say, something about the ions in the atmosphere? It was all lots of science stuff that I'm not smart enough to understand.
Yeah, it's still a lot beyond my understanding too, but solar conditions have a huge impact on signal propagation. The more solar activity there is, the more likely you are to get HF signals out to long distances.
HF,
so,
high frequency.
High frequency,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got a notepad here. Can we maybe hold it up to the camera and just kind of show what you're doing there, and maybe tell us a little bit about what that's for and what you're doing with that?
Basically it's just a way to track what contacts we make and have a little bit of reference information. So we'll checklist some safety reminders, and then notes on things that I would want to keep in mind as I have my rig out in the field. So just a lot of reminders and kind of reference materials so that we don't have to have internet access anywhere we're trying to hear sound.
Yeah, very nice. And so you've got it back. What was that date there, 2009? So you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing it?
I had my license, my technician license, the first level, back in 2009, and didn't have a lot of folks to work with, so it wasn't until pretty recently that I got a little better rig and some other folks to talk to that been able to start doing fun things.
And how long does a battery last on something like this little one here?
It really depends on how you're using it. This guy, it's kind of cool because you can have a rechargeable battery, or you can add a module where you can put AA's into it. If you're not transmitting, it can go for quite a while, probably 8+ hours.
Sure. Okay.
If you're transmitting, depending on how much power you're putting out.
So you're just listening right now. So
just
you might be able to go 8+ hours, but you've tried to transmit a couple times and haven't picked anybody up. So
right.
It could probably last that full 8 hours or something.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then so this isn't your only rig. You said this is for when you're out in the field. You have something bigger at home that you're using?
No, this is my main one.
Okay.
The other one I have is a little handheld unit, and it's designed for 2 meters and 70 centimeters. So it's kind of like local. You can talk locally or work some local repeaters with it. This one's cool because you can work the HF frequencies and get it going a lot longer range.
Very nice. Okay. Tell us about, you've said that there are competitions, and you may have been listening into one of them today. I guess, what's that all about, and how do you win?
Well, the challenge really, and it's, I think, innate to the nature of a lot of ham operators. You want to see how far you can take the hobby, what you can really do with it. So what you'll see a lot of times is if conditions are good, operators will get on and just see how many people they can communicate with in a given period of time. Some of the more informal contests, I guess you just get on the airwaves and see who you can reach, and you can exchange postcards kind of as a reminder that you've worked with each other before. Formalized contests are a little more of a challenge.
Okay.
And I haven't been involved with any of those yet.
Is it like a time limit? Like you have a certain time limit to try to reach a certain distance or something?
I believe so. That's my understanding. Like I said, I haven't participated in those yet. But
are you planning on it?
I'd like to at some point, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this would be the rig that you would use to do that, or would you have to build it up a little bit more, or do you have anything in the works to start doing that, or is this sufficient?
I'd probably want to build it up a little bit more. This one, it's a QRP rig, so it's designed to only go up to like 5 watts. the folks who are really good at contesting will probably use a little bit more power. Some of those will go up 100 watts easily, sometimes even more than that. And it gives a little more oomph behind the signal to make sure it gets out where you want it to go.
Okay. How far have you gotten? So we're in Colorado. So about how far have you gotten from here?
I mean, so we've been receiving out from Michigan, California. I think we got a little bit from Florida.
Well, I don't mean just today. Like in general, what's the farthest you've ever reached?
I think I made it from Denver to Vegas one time.
And that's transmitting?
Transmitting,
okay.
Yeah.
So from Denver to Vegas, how far have you heard?
That's a good question. I want to say the longest I've heard was California.
Okay.
But in terms of HF, I'm still pretty new. I just recently got the license to where I can start working that. So.
A moment ago, didn't you just say that you were starting to pick up the ISS?
Yeah, so the International Space Station makes a trip about every 10 days overhead, and there's a couple different things you can do with that. One is connect into the repeater. There's a repeater overhead that as it passes, you can link up to it and sometimes hear folks like 2 or 3 states away. So by that standard, I guess I've gone a little farther than statewide. So.
Okay, yeah. You've gone universal solar system. So who sets up those repeaters? Are those other hobbyists who are setting those up and helping amplify the signal?
Yeah,
That's
most
for,
of the
right?
repeaters are from clubs, just organizations in the area by volunteers that want a little better signal propagation in their area.
Okay, and how did you get into this? What made you get up one morning and say, I'm going to take a radio and try to listen to the ISS?
It's kind of one of the bucket list items, I guess. When I first got into ham radio, I had heard some stories about folks who were out sailing in the Pacific Ocean, and they were on a yacht or something, and there were some folks that were trailing them, and they suspected they might be pirates looking to board them or do them harm. They weren't anywhere where they had normal lines of communications, but they did have a ham radio, and they were able to reach out to some folks. I think they coordinated with some folks in Texas and somewhere along the East Coast who were able to relay their messages out to the Coast Guard in California.
Okay.
And as a result of that, they got a lot of advice on ways to kind of protect themselves, and eventually the Coast Guard was dispatched and they were able to deal with the situation.
Was it pirates? Do we know what it turned out to be?
They're not really sure from what I heard,
okay.
but it was unnerving in any case.
Yeah.
And ham radio is really cool because it lends itself really well to those kind of situations. If you have downed infrastructure, if you have
or a yacht,
a yacht where there's no other lines of communication, ham radio can get you out to somebody. And most of the operators are really good about trying to be helpful in those kind of scenarios.
Yeah. Have you ever run across anybody that you've transmitted to who was not interested in talking to you, like they were actually angry or something? I get some of them, they want to hear from, I want to hear from Florida or something. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, is the community mostly just helpful, or have you run across anybody who has been the opposite?
I would say it's extremely helpful. I've never come across anyone who is problematic, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a barrier to entry, and if you get into this hobby, it's because you have passion for it and you want to see it succeed. You want to see it go the right direction. And most of the operators I've talked to reflect that.
Okay.
You know, they want to. It really is a privilege to be able to use it and talk to folks who have the right mindset around it.
Yeah.
So I think everyone relates to that and wants to continue that tradition.
Yeah, right on. Did you start out with like CB or anything, or did you just jump straight to this?
No, just went straight to ham.
Okay, because I remember that's the closest I got was my dad had a CB in his car, which he eventually gave the car to me, and I would go outside. We lived in a smaller town near the highway, and it was a big trucking area, so I'd go out and sit in the car and just try to tag truckers all day, you know. And I did get one once. I said, hey, I was a kid, I was like, I don't know, 13, something like that, and I asked a question, hey, question of the day, why do all truckers have beards? And I got back a pretty crude response that I'm not gonna that I'm not gonna repeat here. Maybe when I turn this off, I'll tell you guys. But it made me laugh, so there was that much. But well, cool. Well, thanks for running through it with me. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything that I didn't ask about that's worth mentioning? Or
no, you know, the really cool thing about ham, the barrier to entry is relatively low. It's you do have to get licensed for it. but the test is relatively easy, and the FCC and the community really wants folks to get into the hobby because it benefits everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone out there is curious about it, there's tons of resources online. Everyone I've ever talked to has been helpful. So.
Can they ask you questions in the comments and you may respond?
Yeah.
There you go. So if you're on YouTube or Rumble, do something in the comments. Do the social media stuff. Share this out too. Whatever the social media things are, I don't have them. So, no. Well, thank you so much for doing this, guys.
Yeah.
Just for context, for those of you who are watching, he and his brother Bill, just get in there, say hi. Just say hi. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they brought them because you're licensed too, right, Bill?
Yes.
Yeah. He said yes. He doesn't have a microphone, but he's licensed too, and they brought this out. We were out here, and they just started doing it, and I was like, this is a great opportunity just to ask him about it and share it with all of you. So, thank you so much for letting me accost you and put
My
you
pleasure.
on camera and with no warning. So, appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. You know what to do, like I said, and I'll see you next time. Video killed the radio star.
And radio killed the video star.
I'm gonna get to edit later. Lucky me.
There goes the rest of
All
your
right,
weekend.
there we go. What's that?
There goes the rest of your weekend editing.
I'll just cut out the front. Just take the back, just like I do with Bill. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. I don't think I want to know.